Jai Jinan Bachcho. Let's start with Namokar Mantra. Maulik, would you like to recite the Namokar Mantra and lead us?
Oh yeah, sure. Okay. Om Namo Ariyantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayuriyanam, Namo Uvajayanam, Namo Loe Savisaranam. Eso Panchanamokaro, Savapava Pranasano, Mangalarancha Savisam, Pranamam Hari Mangalam, Pranamam Hari Mangalam.
Jai Jinan Bachcho. I
Yes.
hope you had a very good weekend and week. Are you guys all having a holiday tomorrow?
Yeah, and Tuesday.
And Tuesday as well. Oh, nice. Nice. How about you, Vikyat?
I have no school all week.
Sorry?
Oh,
The whole week.
Oh, Vikyat has holiday for whole week.
We only have it for tomorrow.
Okay, that's not bad.
I feel
One
sad.
extra day. My kids got 4 days, like Friday and Monday. So that's 4 days. How about you, Samyak?
I get the whole week.
Oh, you get the whole week. Nice. Oh, is this your spring break or what kind of break is this?
No, it's just February break. Winter
Oh.
break.
February break. Oh, February is winter? Tell me about that. I'm already having my allergies because of spring incoming in Phoenix. Yeah, the trees around our neighborhood have started budding. So that's what causes irritation sometimes. Different parts of the country, different systems, right?
yeah, there are
Okay.
5 different time zones.
Yes. Time
Yeah,
zones, and then it's different climate as well. Like it's more arid and more dry climate in Southwest in Arizona. So we do get snow in the northern part of Arizona, like about 1.5 hours from my home. We have ski resorts and everything, but that's at a different elevation. Out here in Phoenix, it's quite dry and what do you call it? Hot. Anyways, I was I was having a conversation with Vikyat, and let's start with that topic. Who all know the significance of the event that happened yesterday? There happened a very big event. I mean, some people consider it as a great loss. Other people consider it as a divine, transmigration of a divine soul, right? But who have heard? Have you heard about this?
Yeah.
Maulik? What is it? What happened?
Well, Vidyasagar's soul left his body, so now there's going to be a
Yeah,
new
is
child.
Vidyasagar your friend?
No, I mean,
Then?
yes, but
But how do you call him? But how do you call him? How do you call him?
Vidyasagar Maharaj.
Yes. Always show respect, है ना? That's our sanskar, right? Especially an acharya. When you do Namokar mantra, you are actually bowing down to acharya also, right? That's the third in order. After Arihant, Siddha, and Ayariyanam. Ayariyanam is signifying Acharya Bhagwan. है ना? So whenever we take name of any Acharya Bhagwan of Digambar tradition, we have to show them reverence, correct? So how do you say? Either you say Acharya Vidyasagar or you say Vidyasagar Ji Maharaj, right? Correct? है ना? So you are right, Molly. Yes. Vidyasagar Ji Maharaj's soul departed to a different body, right? Correct? So, like these Christians, they wish, when such things happen, they say RIP. Should we be saying RIP?
No.
No. Why?
Because that's Christian tradition.
हाँ बेटा नहीं ठीक है. Some good traditions we should embrace, but why should we not be saying RIP? There is a reason for not saying RIP. Who can give me a thought on this?
Because they're never dead. They're just in a different body.
Perfect answer, Vikhyat. RIP is rest in peace. The soul never rests. It just transmigrates. It moves. Great answer. Good job, Vikyal. है ना?
If they move.
Because they move.
But
Exactly.
then how do they move? It's not like they can just transfer like a wire, like a cable. It's not like they can just move like a cable.
Yes, but they move because
Yeah, but then so what's after before the next life?
yes, they come from a life, they move to a next life, kind of. है ना? So the soul always moves unless it gets to Siddhavastha. And even when it's in Siddhavastha, its paryaya is always changing from Shuddha, 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 Shuddha. Like it's always staying within itself, and likewise. है ना? So having said that, the main point I was making is, as Maulik said, Vidyasagar ji Maharaj, his life got over, his Ayu Karm got over, and his soul has now migrated out. We all believe, because Vidyasagar ji lived such a pious and exemplary life, that brought so much of glory and reverence to the penance of Jains. It brought so much of traditional value back to the Digambar order. We think his soul would have surely reached the highest of the heavens, that is the Solva Sarg. We don't claim that he would have attained Tirthankar Avastha or Siddhavastha, because we are living in the Pancham Kal, and as per the axiomatic rules of Pancham Kal, no person attains moksha from this earth, the earth that we are living on. है ना? So
What does that mean?
that means that in Jainism there is a description of the time cycle. We will cover it another day. I have a good lecture for it. है ना? As per that, the time that Jains described, Jain Agams have described, it's a very evolutionary nature of time. Like it's a cyclic times, that how we define, right? So the time cycles move from 1 to 6, and then 6 to 1, and then so and so forth. That's how time is defined in Jainism. And as per that time order, we are living in the 5th time order. Okay? The Pancham Kal.
6th.
Sorry, beta?
What's the 6th?
6th is called as Dukhma Kal. And
What does that mean?
As I said, we will cover that topic another day. Hai, because it's a very big and very interesting topic. When I covered this topic in my Jain Pathshala at our temple in Phoenix, it took me about 3 or 4 lectures. It was so.
How much time is each lecture?
You have too many questions, Vikyat. Okay.
I got a curiosity award in 4th grade.
Beta? Yes, but we have to be mindful of time also. Hai na?
Okay.
Otherwise I will just be answering your questions and questions and questions. There are other kids too, right? So the way I will pause on that topic is that we are living in the 5th Kal, and in the 5th Kal, there is no soul that is supposed to go to Siddhavastha. However, you could still do good karma, and that could lead you to a better life in one of the 16 heavens, right? Or you could be born back as a human being with a better life, right? That's how it works. So having said that, one thing I would like to request you all, when we are doing the Jain Pathshala class, we have to show some respect and no eating. Okay? Okay. So with that said, right? So the point I was making is, yesterday, and the way I would define it is, so today's Sunday, right? So yes, Saturday, your time, 4:30, my time 2:30, daytime 2:30 p.m., which is like India 2:30 or India 3 o'clock, around 3 o'clock India time. Acharya Shri soul departed his body, and before his soul departed his body, he was going through a very chronic jaundice, right? And his age was 77 years, right? So very old, he was very old. However, he had such immense tap on his side that he was always, motivating others and exemplifying with his life and acts. Right? Digambar Munis, they walk barefoot. They always, they are sky clad. That is, they don't wear clothes. And not only that, Acharya Vidyasagar ji had given up most of the things that we consider as very important for living. Vikyat, kindly stop eating. I think when I meant stop eating, I didn't wanted to point anybody. But when we are doing the lecture, let's not eat.
Okay.
That's being disrespectful. Because whenever we are doing Dharm ki Pathshala or Dharm ki study, we should follow a particular discipline. Okay? So why don't you go and drink some water and come back? You can eat after the class.
Water to the right here.
Okay.
Wait.
Yeah. So you have to also use your ears, not just your mouth. Okay. Asking question is good thing, but sometimes you have to learn from the words being told to you and by observation. Correct?
May or may not have talked too much.
Yeah. Thank you, beta. So point I was making is Acharya Vidyasagar ji had given up most of the things that we consider so important for our good nourishment. Like basic things, like forget about, good food and things of that nature. No sugar, no salt, no ghee. Think of eating food once with no salt and sugar. Like people think giving up sugar is easy, but try it with no salt, and you would understand what I'm talking about. Acharya Shri had lived that kind of, tapasvi life for past 30, 40 years or more, right? And there are several such vrat he took, which were like beyond our comprehension. Like if you are living in a house like we all live in United States, and the kind of life we enjoy with, ACs and whatnot, right? Think of living in open with no clothes on a very cold day in India, right? That's the life he was living. And there are other monks also of Digambar order who live that kind of life. But Acharya Shri's contributions were immense in the sense that he was living by example, right? So not every Muni is supposed to give up sweet and salt, but he did that, right? Being an Acharya, you have the luxury of the best and bestest of the company. There are so many rich men who die to be in your company. You'll be surprised, like yesterday, Modi ji, who is the Prime Minister of India, actually cried while giving his speech when he got to know that Acharya Shri has passed away. He had such high reference for Acharya Shri, right? So having said that, and that's because, not because, that's because of his tyag, because of his not like accruing too much of wealth, but on the contrary, giving up most of your wealth, everything, right? You have given up to the extent that you now pluck your hairs. You don't even shave. That's what Digambar Munis do. When they have a need to shave off their facial hairs and their hairs on their head, they actually pluck it out. That's act is called as kesh launch, right? And think of it doing it with your own bare hands. Sometimes when our one hair gets stuck in the comb, how much pain it gives, right, Ashka? It's almost crying. Like my daughter is always, gets troubled with that. Now think if you have to pluck off each hairs of yours every time. And this is not like you do once and then you are done with it. You do it almost every 3 months, right? That's the kind of high elevated life that they live. Acharya Shri was a knower of at least 5 languages, and he had, wrote so many books in those 5 languages. Like Kannada was his mother tongue, English, Hindi, Marathi, he was a knower of all those languages, and he gave a lot of respect to Hindi. And that's why many of Indian politicians were always like, mesmerized with him. Not just that, he he ordained about 500 plus monks of different levels, which is a big achievement. Like that's like creating a new university out of, right? Think of a school that is 500 teachers. Think how much learning that would generate, right? You have generated 500 scholars who have potentially, sort of, in a way, done PhD under you and now are responsible for taking the dharma forward, for taking the Jain tradition, the Digambar tradition forward. That was his immense contributions, right? So I think Vikyat is raising his hand, so I'll give him a chance. Go ahead, Vikyat. What's your question?
So wait, so he basically, so wait, rich, literally rich, like literally everybody was like crying, like the rich people were like dying, crying just because he gone.
Not just rich people, everyone was crying, but more than crying, in Jainism, when such a revered soul depart, we are always filled with mixed emotions. On one side, we are obviously in shock. We are hurt because of departure of such a great guru. But at the same time, we are happy that that guru, the way they ended their life, was not something which we all should aspire for. That is, they ended their life on their own terms by taking the vrat of Salekhna, which is the highest type of tap that a human being can take, which is like you take that vrat and you decide to give up all the things that you are dependent on. You start curbing down on your needs, going beyond wants altogether. You are now curbing down on your needs, on food and water, and slowly you end your life on your terms. So Acharyaji's, when we say Acharyaji, his soul departed, the right term that we should use for that act is samadhi ho gayi. Kya ho gaya? Samadhi ho gayi. And when his samadhi happened, Vikyat, to your question, yes, of course, everyone around him, and not just rich people, but all kind of people who followed him, and all the politicians and everyone are obviously they got sad. But at the same time, Jains believe that when such a revered soul depart, they depart to a better life, and they are much more closer to the moksha gati, to the siddhavastha, and that is an act of happiness, right? You know why we celebrate Deepavali?
Diwali.
Why do we Jains celebrate? What is the significance of Diwali in Jain tradition? Who is going to tell me? Samyak? Okay, Maulik, go ahead.
I think it's because Bhagwan Mahavir's Keval Gyan happened.
No, it's related to Mahavir Bhagwan, but not Keval Gyan.
Like he attained moksha.
He attained moksha, exactly. So in a way, one can always be, right? You could be sad, oh no, this is the day Mahavir Bhagwan died. But what are we celebrating it for? That's the biggest festival perhaps in our tradition, right? We are celebrating his attaining moksha, right? He ending this cycle of birth and death. That's what we celebrate. Same way, when Acharya Vidyasagar ji Samadhi happened, on one side we are unhappy and sad because now we'll not have his company and guidance directly. We still have his word and guidance in sort of paper, in documented way, in videos and whatnot. But still we don't have his direct company and that aura, that energy that is people always felt when they met him. We do have the luxury of his disciples who are spread around, about 500 plus of them, who are available to us to guide us, but he himself is not available. So that's what we are sad for. But on the other side, we are happy that that soul is moving ahead on its journey towards moksha gati. Hai na? So that's what we should be mindful of. Yes, Vikyat, what is your next
So
question?
so you said the highest thing we can go to is a certain gati. Then what's the is that the then can we go up from there?
हाँ,
Like
good
up
question.
and
So अभी क्या
the
होता है, from Manushya Gati, the highest thing that could happen to you is you could end up in one of the in the Dev Gati, becoming one of the devs out of the 16 Swarg, of which 16th Swarg is the highest. You can become a Vaimanik Dev. From Vaimanik Dev again, but you have to come back to a Manushya Gati to go to the moksha. So highest, if you ask me, highest of the Gati, if going back to the lecture we had last time, is Siddha Gati. That is like moksha. But moksha is so high that before even you go to moksha, the journey continues, right? So you as a Manushya, if you do ultimate lok kalyan, if you exhibit ultimate empathy and darshan vishuddhi, then you end up going to one of the swargs, and from there you come back in a either in a great life, like as a Jain with becoming a monk, and then you can basically do tap and tyag and ultimately go to moksha. Okay? So with that said, so that is what I wanted you to understand the significance of it. Hai. What is the life and journey of Acharya Vidyasagar ji is one, it's exemplary. It's something worth following, worth getting inspired from. And we as a Jain, remember, you all are blessed souls that you have been born as a Jain. I am a blessed soul that I have been born in a Jain family. And not just I am blessed because I am born in a Jain family. I am born in a family that always valued Jain tradition over other traditions. They cherished it more, they respected it more. There are so many of Jains who are just born Jain by accident, like not accident because of their past good karma, but they don't value it. They are running around, they are like, oh, let me try something else, everything is equal, let me try some other religion, let me convert myself, let me become Christian, let me try something else, or not follow religion at all. But think of a situation, you four are or five kids are so blessed that your parents, you got such great parents who value Jain tradition and who are willing to put their time and their efforts to make you learn Jainism. That's such a great blessing, and you should all be thankful to your parents for that. Hai. So that's something you all have to be mindful of. How blessed are we? Hai. Now, having said that, I hope you all got great information about Acharya Vidyasagar ji. There are many more facts about his life. You should ask your parents to show you certain videos of Acharya Vidyasagar ji, on his life and journey. It's so inspiring. There are some great movies that people made on his life journey, like how he was as a kid. He almost looked like Vikhyat, in his, without glasses, of course.
I used to be without glasses like a year ago, and then
Yeah.
and then for some
Okay.
reason I got farsighted, and then now
Vikhyat,
yeah.
we'll learn. ये चाहिए? We have to, we'll learn about your autobiography when you become like Vidyasagar ji. Okay? So until then, keep writing on your biography and keep your thoughts in. Okay?
I don't even have a biography though.
That's what you should work towards it. But for that, you'll have to do more thinking and less speaking. Okay? Anyways, so ask your parents to get, show you that movie about Acharya Vidyasagar ji, his journey from a little boy Vidyadhar all the way to becoming Vidyasagar. It's a beautiful movie. It's such a great movie on YouTube. Okay. With that said, let me come to the lecture, topic of lecture. I had to take this digression because this was one of those uncalled for moments, right? Such a apurva avsar for us to learn and introspect and, basically, do an introspection and basically a retrospective on the life and journey of Acharya Vidyasagar ji. So that said, let me do one thing. So first thing that we wanted to cover today was, give me a second. Where is it? Yeah, so where is it? Okay. Let me go to the classroom. Yes, here is the PPT. So today we are going to learn about water filtration method. Okay. I was supposed to ask you to bring something of this kind to show you how water cleansing happen. I think most of you know how filtration work, right? You would have done some small project or seen your mom doing it at home.
We
Uh,
had several times like that's filtration, like in the temple, and like we had to filter our thing, and then it got dirty. We're cleaning it, it still hasn't been. And it used to be filtered in the olden days like this.
Yes. Thank you, Vikyat, for
Because
setting the context. So this is how, Maulik, can you turn on your camera? So this is what we call as channa or ganna. Now there is a quality of this type of cloth. It's no normal cloth. We don't take a colored cloth. It's a white cotton cloth, of a particular texture. We in our part of India we call it ganna. Other parts they call it channa. The process is called a Giovanni's process. So what is done in it is basically you very method. The method is you put the cloth on the utensil that you want the filtered water to be in, right? And then you simply pour it. And the ganna should be mostly you should do it double layered. That's what is recommended, right? You don't use one layer but two layers, so that no microorganisms are hurt and then they get stuck here. Clothes should not see through. And the clothes should not see through. So now most important thing is this is not colored cloth. This is a very, very, and you don't use it for any other purpose but just for filtration. So I would recommend, this has been our tradition for good 2000, 3000 years. When people were not even knowing that there are microorganisms, Mahavir Bhagwan had taught us that, there is life even in there is microscopic life. When even before microscope was even invented, through his gyan, he could see that and understand it, right? So that's how this tradition has been there, always there in our culture. Now, one other thing that we should always be doing is, once after you have filtered the water, you don't never what's the usko kabhi bhi na nichodna nahi chahiye, right? Like other clothes, we kind of squeeze the water out of it. When it comes to this cloth, it's a no, right? So what you do is you take it back to the source of water, right? And then you gently wash it with a light spray of water. That's the right process of basically cleaning this cloth after filtering. Okay, na? So that is very important. Maulik, you have a question?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, if you imagine the water without any microbes, will water still be an organism?
Oh, great question. So, beta, yes, as per Jain tradition, and we didn't cover that topic, but there is something called as Jalkai Jeev. है ना? So जैसे जो one sense organisms होते हैं ना, who only have sense of touch, they are further classified into multiple categories, which is like Vanaspati Kai, Jal Kai, Prithvi Kai, Agni Kai, and likewise, right? Out of them, Jal Kai Jeev is water itself. I mean, it includes the organisms that live on water and whatnot, the flora and fauna, the planktons and whatever, right? But in addition, water itself has to be treated with the respect, because it is considered as a one sense organism. Sorry, I always say organ, it's organism. Important thing there is, as per our tradition, when it comes to the Shravaks, it's very difficult for us to avoid the violence that happens because of our daily chores. That's called as Arambhi Hinsa, right? Killing of one sense organism kind of inadvertently happen because of these acts. We should try to minimize them consciously, but there are certain things which are completely unavoidable for us being born while we are in the sansari life. So those kind of violences, which includes violence of the Jalkai Jeev, is, I would not say it's acceptable, but it's a necessity to sustain life. Make sense?
Yeah, but then what about food? Would food be
What
counted
about
as an organism?
Which one, beta?
Would food be counted as an organism?
No, not necessarily. Food depends. If you say, is egg a organism? I would say yes. Egg sustains life, so it is a organism. But if you say something like I'm eating, a dormant grain, right? Until it stays dormant, it is not. It's considered as achit, right? Without when it's dormant, it is it's acceptable to eat it. है ना? But there are certain plants which we don't eat. Like, can you give me an example of a plant that is, or a food item that is vegetarian, but we should be avoiding? Malik.
Methi?
Eh?
Would methi count?
Methi is a leaf. It can be avoided, but it's okay. Methi is not that what I was expecting as an answer. There is one more which is way more popular than methi, and as a Jain, we should avoid eating it. Malik, what do you think?
Jackfruit and eggplant, such.
Eggplant, jackfruit. Any other example, Samyak? Which is like which supports multiple lives. Let me put it this way.
Figs.
Figs, very good. We covered that topic. I'm happy that you remember figs. What else, Ashka?
Anything that comes from like underground, so like
Perfect answer. That's what I was expecting. So give me an example.
potato,
Potatoes, onion, right?
onion.
See, groundnut is different, right? You should understand. When it comes to peanut also grows under the ground. If you are not aware, it does. But it's acceptable. You know why it's acceptable? Because it grows inside a shell, hard shell, and it's not one that kind of supports multiple lives, right? It's not a vanaspati kai jeev that supports a colony of life. Like potato is considered that type of food or a tuber which grows under the ground, and one potato supports a huge set of life, like infinite amount, uncountable organisms on its own, right? That is not the case with peanuts. So this is always a argument made, when you will go and talk to other people, they'll say, oh, you are Jains, you're not supposed to eat under the ground food. And the next thing they will to treat, to either out of curiosity or trapping you down, they will say, oh, but why do you consume peanuts? So you should know this, right? Peanuts have hard shell. They are not like something that is like potatoes that sustain a colony of life. So there is a difference, and that difference is what we apply in our conduct also. Okay, so that was the topic. There is this. So this, like in this chapter, they have described how should the water filtration method be. You should be using it the size of the utensil or bigger size. That way, it forms a kind of it doesn't lead to any leakage of water. All the water should be passing through the cloth itself, right? So the length of the cloth should be enough. It should be big enough. Time span of filtered water. Now, this is very important to understand, right? Filtered water should be used for 48 minutes, normal hot water for 6 hours, and completely boiled water for 24 hours. Now, very important. Okay, who is going to tell me how many times do our Digambar Muni Arikas drink water in a day? Vikyat, go ahead. Once. Any other answers? Yeah, they only drink once a day. And you know what? The water that they consume has to be out of a well, should have been, basically collected with the proper process of Jivani applied, or it could be rain harvested water, because rain harvested water is considered to be, it stays fresh for a long duration. And that's a water that's allowed for them, but that also after filtration. right? And on top of it, the water that our Muni, Acharya, everyone's basically consume is boiled, right? So because the boiled water, it lasts for its freshness lasts for 24 hours. Okay, na? So that's a type of process, the life process that they follow, because they are very mindful of, basically it's all about minimal harm to other microorganisms consciously, right? So that is what their life's credo is, something that they follow. है ना?
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yeah, go ahead, beta. Go ahead. Okay, so this is the task for you. The task is you should be also apply this process once. Go through this PPT. I have not covered all the slide, but I have covered the message. है ना? So that's what you should all be aware of, and always try to filter your water. If not multiple times a day, at least once a day. We have a practice at home to use this ganna. Okay, and we filter our water, although we all have our other filtration devices which are in our refrigerators, water softener, whatnot, but that's okay. On top of it, we always use this kind of ganna or loan. I mean, different traditions. Ask your mom what do they call in their part of country. Okay, that would be a good curiosity question to follow. Go ahead, Maulik.
I was wondering, so we have aero filter water, so that the water that comes out of our second tap is like
Beta,
from a
yeah,
single.
so the verdict is it's a bit controversial topic. So I would answer it this way, right? If you have an RO at home, the better thing still would be for you to basically use a ganna, right? This cloth filtration method on top of it. ठीक है ना? Let me stay with that. I mean, this is a good question for maybe when you get a chance to ask this question to Acharya Praman Sagarji, you should do that, right? In his Shanka Samadhan. I think the answer coming from him would be more effective, है ना? Than versus I telling you what is the right thing. Make sense? Okay. Okay, so that done. Now let's move on to the next topic for today. Okay, let's see what is that. We will not cover this. We will go and cover. Let me turn back on this. I can get to the. Here it is. Class work. We covered this. Okay. Panch Pap. That's the topic. So who is going to tell me what are the 5 sins as per Jain tradition? Names of the 5 sins. Okay, Samyak, do you know any of the 5 sins? Now that I have filtered my water, I can drink it too.
No, I don't really know.
You don't know?
I
Not,
might know
not
them, I
even
just
one? Not even one, better?
violence.
Violence, that's the right one. Yes, hinsa, right? So I don't want answers in English. You should always make a effort to know the word in Hindi. And what is the word, Samyak? Hinsa. What's the word?
Hinsa.
Hinsa. Very good. Okay. Vikhyat, you want to tell me the second one? Only second one, not beyond that.
So the second one is so I forgot what the name is in Hindi. It's like eating underground fruits. It's like
No, that's not a sin. It's covered in violence, but I'm looking for the either
like
exact
killing,
name in English or Hindi, one of them.
like killing.
Uh, Not killing either. Ashka, do you know what is the second one? The second sin? Second pap?
Alcohol? No. Maybe like any criminal activity like stealing or
You got it. You are very close. It's there in one of the 5s. Stealing is, but the second one, Maulik, what's the second one?
Lying or jute.
Yes, lying. Telling a lie or telling a jhoot. What's the Hindi word for it?
Jute.
So पहला है हिंसा और दूसरा क्या है? अशका झूठ, है ना? Lying, right? And the third one is what you said, which is stealing or chori, right? ठीक है ना? हिंसा, झूठ, चोरी, 3 चीजें कवर हुई. What's the fourth one? Maulik?
I think it's kushil, which is the greediness.
Kushil is the right word for it is non-chastity, but for now, for your level, we'll say greediness. But it's not greediness, okay? It's definitely not greediness. It is non-chastity. Kushil is non-chastity, not being true in your relationships, in your married relationships. That's kushil. है ना? So not being chaste is the fourth one. Which is the fifth one? Fifth one क्या है मौलिक?
Parigrah.
Parigrah, which is possessiveness. है ना? Not possessions. See, I have possessions of so many things in my life. To maintain my life, I do have possessions of this clothes, which is a consumable good, a non-consumable good. I have possession of fruits that I eat. I have purchased them in the market. That's not what possessiveness is. Possessiveness is more about being too much attached to it. Like, oh, I have one phone, now I want one more phone, and then one more phone. I want 200 cars. I want like 20 houses all through the world. I want to travel to every part of the world. These kind of, sort of life goals are what drive or what defines possessiveness. है ना? I should always have the latest and greatest of iPhones. That's possessiveness. Anything that goes beyond needs and ventures into the wants, is possessiveness, defines possessiveness. ठीक है ना? So 5 कौन से हुए? आप सब मेरे साथ बोलोगे. हिंसा, हिंसा, झूठ,
चोर,
चोरी,
Chori.
then kushil and parigraha.
Parigraha.
Okay. Vikyat, you have a question?
No. Other than the question I asked earlier, no.
Okay. Go ahead. Let's keep going then. Let me play this video for you, okay?
Do you know to become a good boy or a good girl, the most important thing is to have good habits? We should always do good things. We should never do any bad things. Today we will listen to a very interesting story about a sweet, caring girl. Her father is a Brahmin Panditji. One day the girl saw people in her village going somewhere happily. She then realized that they were all going to a Digambar saint. The girl had never prayed, so she was really excited to see what a Digambar saint was. Then she started to follow the people. When she reached there, she saw the saint talking about 5 sins. She had no idea what a sin was. The saint told the girl that there are 5 bad habits, or 5 sins. He told her that you should not do any bad habits because if you do them, then you will get punished. The saint told the girl that there are 5 sins, which are called violence, lying, stealing, bullying, and greediness. Violence means that you are killing or hurting other people. Lying means not telling the truth. You're hiding the real fact. Stealing means to quietly take someone else's things without asking them. Bullying means to have bad thoughts for someone else. Greediness means to keep on wanting more things even though you already have enough. The saint told the girl that in order to sacrifice these 5 sins, you should make a promise. When the girl heard this, she thought that the saint was telling her really good things. She also really wanted to be a good person, so she made a promise to not ever do these 5 sins. Then she excitedly ran home. She went to her father and told him that she made a promise to not do these 5 sins. When her father heard that she made a promise, he got really angry. He told her, "Why do you make these promises? You're still so young." The girl said, Father, I have decided to be a good girl by doing all good things. That is why I made these promises. If you want me to break these promises, then come with me to the saint. I made these promises with him, so I will break them with him too. So then the girl and her father started walking to get to the saint. As they were walking, they saw many soldiers hurting a guy. They were about to kill him. The girl asked her father why the guy was getting punished. Her father said that the guy killed his friend. He didn't violence. That is why he's getting punished. The girl then said that if you hurt someone, it is called violence. You get a really big punishment by doing this. That is why I took a promise to never do this. Her father said that this is a good promise. Let's keep this promise and we can go break the others. As they continued walking, they saw a man whose tongue was being poked. The girl's father told her that the guy was getting his tongue poked because he lied and hid the real fact. The girl then said, "See, father, telling the truth is such a good thing and telling a lie is such a bad thing. Now I'm going to keep this promise too." Her father said, "Okay." As they continued walking, they both saw a person that was being put to jail by policemen. The guy was wearing handcuffs. The girl's father told the girl that the guy robbed things. This is why he's going to jail. The girl's father said, "See, if you steal something, you get such a big punishment. This is why I made this promise," said the girl. Her father said this is true. They continued walking and saw a person whose hands and legs were tied to a tree branch. Two guys were throwing stones at him. The girl's father told her that people are throwing stones at him because he bullied someone. He had some bad thoughts or feelings for another person. This is why he is getting punished. The girl then said, "Father, I took a promise to never bully someone, right? Is it wrong to take this promise?" Her father said, "No, this is fine." So they continued walking. They saw doctors taking a sick person to the hospital. The girl's father said that the sick person is very greedy. He collected lots of things. He bought a lot of cars, buildings, and had a lot of money. The guy is always worried that nobody takes his belongings or ruins his cars. Since he had lost stress, he is sick now. A person like this is called greedy. The girl then said, "Father, I made a promise to never be greedy. I will only keep the things that I use. What did I do wrong?" Her father said, "You're right." So because of this, she kept all 5 of her promises. Her father was very convinced and thought that these 5 sins are very dangerous and that they hurt a lot of people's feelings. We should all not do these sins or anything bad. We should never do violence, meaning to never hurt or kill anyone. We should never lie, meaning to not tell the truth. We should never steal, meaning to never take someone else's belongings without asking them. We should never bully someone, meaning to never keep bad thoughts about someone. Also, we should never be greedy, meaning to only keep the things that we need and give the rest away. So now we will promise to not do these 5 sins and become good people. We will, right? Station end.
Hey, I gather this video has raised some curiosities. So let me start with Maulik. What's your question, Maulik?
I was wondering, like they said to be greedy and having a lot would be bad. But if somebody gives you like $5 billion, is it wrong to accept?
Okay. Let me add some color to it at your level, right? What grade are you in, Maulik?
8.
8. Okay. So you'll understand it very well. Let's say there is a guy who made all his money from bad means, right? Breaking the law, from drugs, from selling guns, doing smuggling through the border, and that's how he made a lot of money. And there is the law establishment is behind him now. FBI is running after him. Okay, so this guy is running with bag load of money, which he collected by all these bad trades like selling girls, selling drugs, killing people, and stealing away their money. That's how he got his wealth. Now, while he's running, he run into Maulik, and He says, oh, you know what? These cops are behind me. These FBI wallahs are behind me. Malik, here is some money, free money. Take this money. Okay? So that when an FBI guys come, I'll say, no, this is not my money. This is Malik's money. What would happen to you when the FBI will find that the money is actually with you?
Hey, but what if there are no tricks?
No,
It's
no,
just
no.
like you won
First,
the
you answer my
lottery.
question. What would happen?
Well, then you would go in jail.
Exactly. You
But
are
what if you won
accomplice.
the lottery or something?
Oh,
What-
lottery is one of the vyasans. You know that?
Oh, gambling?
Yes,
Gambling, yes. Gambling is a big no-no. Like eating or drinking, eating meat and drinking wine, gambling is the first of the 7 vyasans.
And what if
Wait,
Elon Musk
what is
liked
that?
your coding work?
Huh, beta?
And what if it's something like Elon Musk liked what you did in coding?
Oh, that's like your remuneration, right? That's like
Then
he's
you can
rewarding you for your good work, your ethical work.
What if Elon Musk gave you $500 million for no particular reason?
Why would he give you that much of money for no
Just
particular
as
reason?
let's just say he did, but would that still be considered like greed?
If you take that money without any reason, it's a greed, right? Why do you need that kind
Like
of
say
money,
you
which is
did
not
something like
hard earned?
really good, that you, like you made a breakthrough in some industry.
Sure.
That you then
Then you take that money. That's your money. That's your reward, right? So if the king or a big man is rewarding you for your great exemplary work, your research, that's all your money, of course. But if he's giving away the money for no reason, no good reason, or to save himself from some bad, situations, bad as in he did something bad and now he's just trying to run away from that money, you should never be taking that kind of money. That's not the best money is hard earned money, right? If you are using your brain and through that process you created something good and that's what lead you to money, that's what you are entitled for. That's what belongs to you. Beyond that, everything is drives more greediness, right? Because you will get used to that easy money, and easy money is always hard on life. If you get something very easily, you do not have any appreciation for it, right? So always strive for hard work, always strive for money that comes out of a good process of learning and application of your own skills, mind, and your hard work. Okay? So Maulik, I hope you got my answer, right? Okay, perfect. Thank you, beta. So that's what. So again, I would like you to memorize these 5 paap: hinsa, jhoot, chori, kushil, and parigrah or possessiveness. Now again, in this video, because these videos were created for little kids, they are calling it greediness. But parigrah means possessiveness. What does it mean? Possessiveness. है ना? You are actually you want everything that's there in the market. That's possessive. Or you are get so much tied to your things that when they break, your heart is broken. You are just stuck in that moment. That's possessiveness. And it could be with anything. It's not just about things of objects. It's not just about a phone. It could be very well be about with your career. Like there are so many people who get so much stuck in their career that when they don't get a promotion, they get sad. Or if they get a promotion, but they are not getting the enough money, they get sad. Or they are always after competition and getting from one level to another to another to another, and just forget about their real purpose, which is about elevating oneself spiritually on the path of spiritualism. That's also possessiveness, right? So that all is parigrah. Accumulating things is parigrah, right? You don't need these things, but you are just you just want to have them just because they are available and you have the money to buy them. That's possessiveness. That's accumulation. Vikyat, what's your question?
So my question is, Like say everybody. Okay, wait. So I need this thing.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Okay, so let me do one more thing today and then we'll end the session. ठीक है बेटा? Okay, let's do this. महामंत्र पर पैर रखने का क्या? We remember I was telling you when I started that when we are doing Jain Pathshala or we are in the temple, when we are reciting Navkar mantra, we should be following a discipline, and that discipline involves no eating, right? No munching food, no sitting in a very bad posture or sitting on the bed or sitting on a sofa and things of that nature. This story is also set around one such act of pramad or procrastination, which people do and they don't realize, and sometimes they do it advertently, sometimes inadvertently, right? So this is a story about Shubham Chakravarti, and the story is around putting their feet on Mahamantra, on Navokar mantra, right? What happened to that soul when that soul in Manushya Gati did the gravest act of putting the feet on and showed their disrespect towards Mahamantra, towards the Namokar mantra. So let's listen into this story, okay?
आज हम आपको शुभोम चक्रवर्ती की कहानी सुनाएंगे। एक दिन वो अपनी फैमिली के साथ ट्रैवल कर रहे थे। बहुत ही बड़े समुद्र में से, ओशन में से जा रहे थे एक बड़ी सी बोट में बैठकर, और सभी बहुत खुश भी थे। ऑल ऑफ अ सडन तूफान आने लगता है, बवंडर मचने लगता है, और जो बोट थी उनकी वो बहुत ज़ोर से हिलने लगती है। अरे ये क्या हो रहा है? सब बहुत डर जाते हैं। ऐसा लगने लगता है कि अब तो कोई भी बच नहीं पाएगा, नोबडी कैन बी सेव्ड। लेकिन ये कौन है जो हंस रहा है ज़ोर ज़ोर से? बच्चों, आप जानना चाहोगे कि ये सब हो क्या रहा था? आइए अब हम चलते हैं राजा शुभोम चक्रवर्ती के दरबार में। वहाँ पर सभी मिनिस्टर्स और राज दरबारी बैठे हुए थे। तभी एक पर्सन राजसभा में आता है और वो अपने साथ बहुत ही स्पेशल एक स्वीट सा फ्रूट राजा को गिफ्ट करने के लिए लाता है और बोलता है, महाराज, मैं अपने बागीचे के मीठे फल आपके लिए लाया हूँ। शुभोम चक्रवर्ती वो फ्रूट टेस्ट करते हैं और उसको खाकर बहुत खुश हो जाते हैं, जैसे कि ऐसा तो कभी फ्रूट खाया ही ना हो। राजा ने कहा, ये तुम कहाँ से लाए हो? क्या तुम मेरे लिए और भी ला सकते हो क्या? वो बोलता है, हाँ महाराज, ऐसे बहुत सारे फ्रूट्स हैं मेरे पास। मेरा घर समुद्र के बीच एक आइलैंड पे है। क्या आप मेरे साथ चलना चाहोगे? वहाँ चलो और जितने फ्रूट्स चाहे खा लो। राजा को तो खाना खाने का बहुत शौक था, तो वो अपनी फैमिली के साथ बोट में बैठकर आइलैंड के लिए निकल पड़े। जब सभी लोग वाटर वेव्स को देखकर बहुत मज़े कर रहे थे, एंजॉय कर रहे थे, तब उस पर्सन ने अपना रूप बदल लिया। ही चेंज्ड हिज फॉर्म। वो तो एक्चुअल में एक देव था जो अपना भेष बदलकर राजा के दरबार में आया था। अब तक तो वो शुभोम चक्रवर्ती को बहुत रिस्पेक्ट दे रहा था और अब एकदम से बहुत गुस्सा करने लगा, एंग्री होने लगा। उस विशाल बड़े से वास्ट ओशन में एक बड़ा और भयानक स्टॉर्म क्रिएट करने लगा था वो, और उनकी बोट वाटर वेव्स पर उछलने लगी। उनकी फैमिली के सभी लोग बहुत डर गए, घबराने लगे। तब वो पर्सन जो कि अब देव बन गया था ना, वो अपने प्रीवियस बर्थ के बारे में बताने लगा। वो बोला, लास्ट बर्थ में मैं आपके लिए भोजन बनाता था। एक दिन मैंने बड़े ही मन से आपके लिए खीर बनाई थी और गर्मा गर्म खीर आपको सर्व भी की थी, परोसी भी थी। और जैसे ही आपने वो खीर खाई तो गरम गरम खीर खाने से आपका मुंह जल गया। तो आपने मुझे इतना गुस्सा किया कि खीर वाले उस बर्तन को ही मेरे सर पर दे मारा। मेरा सारा सर ही जल गया था और मुझे बहुत वेदना, बहुत पेन हुआ, और मरकर मैं व्यंतर देव बन गया। अब उसी का रिवेंज लेने, बदला लेने के लिए मैं तुम्हें यहाँ लाया हूँ। अब तुमने जो गलती की है ना, तुम भी उसका फल भोगोगे, या फिर अगर बचना चाहते हो तो एक ही तरीका है, एक ही उपाय है। इन समुद्र की लहरों पर नमोकार मंत्र लिखो और उससे अपने पैरों से मिटा दो, इरेज कर दो, तो मैं तुम्हें छोड़ सकता हूँ। शुभोम चक्रवर्ती को तो कुछ समझ ही नहीं आ रहा था। उन्हें समझ नहीं आया कि कैसे मैं ये नमोकार मंत्र पर पैर रख दूं, और ये पैर रखने से तो मेरा अनर्थ हो जाएगा। वो फिर क्या सोचते हैं कि अगर मैंने ऐसा नहीं किया तो मैं और मेरी फैमिली तो सब मर जाएंगे। तो शुभोम चक्रवर्ती उस व्यंतर देव की बात को मान लेते हैं और नमोकार मंत्र को वाटर वेव्स पे लिखकर अपने पैरों से मिटाने लगते हैं। कोई भी ऐसे कैसे कर सकता है? नमोकार मंत्र की इतनी डिसरिस्पेक्ट, पैर से टच करना और मिटाना। और उसी टाइम वो देव पता है क्या करता है? वो शुभोम चक्रवर्ती को पुश करके धक्का देकर पानी में गिरा देता है और डुबा देता है। बच्चों, ऐसा लगता है कि देव ने उसे जानबूझकर मंत्र लिखवाया और मिटवाया भी, क्योंकि जो भी नमोकार मंत्र का अपमान करेगा, डिसरिस्पेक्ट करेगा, उसको बचाने के लिए कोई भी नहीं आ सकता, कोई भी प्रेयर काम नहीं कर सकती। शुभोम चक्रवर्ती जो 6 खंड के अधिपति थे, 32,000 किंग जो हर वक्त उनके अंडर रहा करते थे, उनसे उन्होंने क्या किया? अनादि निधन महान नमोकार मंत्र को, वो नमोकार मंत्र जो हमें सभी ट्रबल से बचाता है, हमारे बुरे कर्मों को डिस्ट्रॉय करता है, उन शुभोम चक्रवर्ती ने उसी मंत्र को डिसरिस्पेक्ट किया, उसकी अवमानना की, और उन चक्रवर्ती राजा को पता है नरक जाना पड़ा। धिक्कार है ऐसे चक्रवर्ती राजा को जो अपनी आसक्ति और मूर्खता से नरक में गए। जो भगवान पर भक्ति रखते हैं, विश्वास रखते हैं, उनकी हमेशा अच्छी ही गति होती है, और जो मंत्र का अपमान करते हैं, गलत काम करते हैं, उन्हें ऐसे पाप का बंध होता है जिनसे उन्हें बहुत दुख झेलने पड़ते हैं। तो हम सब भी प्रॉमिस करते हैं कि किसी भी अपने जैन मंत्र को, अपने नमोकार मंत्र को डिसरिस्पेक्टफुल वे में नहीं यूज़ करेंगे। ठीक है बच्चों? जय जिनेंद्र।
Jai Jinesh बच्चों, I will leave you with the thought on the this video that you saw, right? I am very hopeful that you would always be respecting Namokar mantra and our Jinwani, right? So whenever you are doing reading of Jinwani, any book like this, right, you have to show it respect to the Jain books, all type of books, of course. So you should never be putting your feet on a Jain book or use it for unnecessary purposes, because उसमें तो नमोकार मंत्र लिखा है ना। तो अगर नमोकार मंत्र के साथ आपने डिसरेस्पेक्ट किया तो आपने स्टोरी देखी, राइट, व्हाट हैपेंस इन लाइफ। सो दिस इज व्हाट यू ऑलवेज शुड कीप इन माइंड। ठीक है, आई थिंक इट्स अबाउट टाइम, सो वी विल एंड द लेक्चर हियर। Vikyat, do you have a question?
I have a question. Like sometimes, what if say someone like throw the book, and then you happen to step in that area, and then you very quickly find out there is a book there, and someone threw that book right there in front of you.
So beta, you have to, obviously you should try to save upon falling down on that book or putting your feet on it, but inadvertently, but if you put your feet on it, you should right away do a prashchit, put the book, take it up, show your respect to it, and recite Namokar mantra 9 times. That's what you should do, right? Okay, chalo beta, let's end the session by doing Namokar mantra. And Eshna, you want to recite the part, the Jinwani Stuti?
श्रावणी के ज्ञान से सूझे लोकालोक, जो वाणी पुस्तक धरू देहु सदा दोष। हे जिनवाणी भारती माँ तो है जपो दिन रहे, जो तेरी शरण आ गए पावे सुख चैन।
Vichami Dukram बच्चों, उत्तम क्षमा। Maulik, do you have a question?
Uttam Shama.
Yeah, so I was reading about a guy named Brahmadatta, and he was a Chakravarti, but he went to the 7th hell in the same life. How is that possible? I just didn't get it.
Not in same life, beta. It is
Yeah, in same life. Because he
Uh,
disrespected Brahmins, but he still became a Chakravarti.
yeah, I mean, it's not same life actually. It's like when his life ended, that's when he ended too in the
Yeah, but his life ended, and in the beginning of his life, he was Chakravarti.
yeah, that is possible
So
because there
I'm
are some Chakravartis when the Ayuband happens, right? If at that point, if they are doing something very gross, at times their Ayuband drives them towards hell in the very next
no,
life.
but also I think he was one of the 63 Sansari beings.
करेक्ट बेटा वही है ना
Yeah,
होता क्या है
that's
कई बार ना दे आर शलाका पुरुष द 63 मीन्स दे आर शलाका पुरुष राइट 63 शलाका पुरुष में होते हैं लेकिन जब उनका देवर लाइक राजा श्रेणिक है ना सो राजा श्रेणिक सोल इज ऑल्सो इन हेल बिकॉज while he became later on did penance after doing that gross act of putting a dead snake around Muni, right? Muni's neck. Right away he had that feeling of guilt and he did prayashchit but before that could happen his ayuband happened and the ayuband was that in the next life he'll go to hell. So after that he lived a very pious life as a king, but still his soul currently is in I think third hell or one of the hells. I don't exactly remember the number, but that happens. So what you have to understand from that concept is uh, karma will always come to fruition, good or bad, right? So if you do good karma and then you do bad karma, both will come to fruition in some order with the right intensity. है ना? It's not like they balance against each other. ऐसा नहीं होता है कि मैंने आज कोई बड़ा गंदा काम किया और कल मैं गंगा में जाके स्नान कर लूंगा तो मेरे पाप उतर जाएंगे. You always have to bear consequences of your acts and the choices you make in life. है ना? So even if you are a Chakravarti, but if you have done something gross and did some misconduct, it will lead you to a Papband and Ayuband according to that, and you will have to bear the consequences. Make sense, beta? Okay. With that, we'll end the lecture. Uttam Shama and Jai
Uttam
Jinendra.
Shama.
See you all in the next class. Okay?
Uttam Shama.
Uttam Shama, beta. Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra.